this video, I'm going to show you how to open up the same Unity project multiple times. So by default, once you open up a Unity project, it won't let you open it up again. So just kind of a workaround is you make multiple Unity projects and you have them all copy the same asset folder. So in this case, I have one main project here, and any changes that I make here are going to occur instantly to all the others because their asset folders are just clones of this one. So just an example here, if I change the panel color, let's make it kind of a lighter blue. All I have to do is save the scene, and these ones are all going to change instantly. So this is primarily used for networking. Let's say you have a server scene there. So one version would be running the server, and then the other two would be clients, let's say. And rather than building and running and kind of losing all that visual, with this you actually have a separate inspector for each client. So you can see anything that's going on in the scene, you can see any errors that they're generating, just a lot of data for each individual client. So that's mostly what it's used for. The file structure is going to look like this. So there's going to be multiple projects in one overall folder, and the main project's just going to look normal. But the copy projects, or the clone projects, their asset folder doesn't actually exist. It's got this little arrow here, which just means it's using the main project. So that's how that's going to work. I'll just exit out of this and I'll start from scratch here. So I'm going to create a new overall folder, which is where all the Unity projects are going to go. And I'll call that projects. And I'm going to create a new project inside of here. You can skip this step if you already have one that you're copying. This is just if you're starting from scratch. Okay, so I'm going to create a new project. I'm going to call that main project and just make sure it's in that projects folder. Just wait for that to load. Okay, I can just exit out of that. So now we should have a main project inside of an overall folder. So what we want to do now is duplicate this. In this case, I'm just going to duplicate it once, but you can do this as many times as you want. So I'm just going to copy and paste right in here. Now I like to name them with an incremental number, just so if you have multiple, you can keep track. So I'm going to call this clone 1. Again, you could do clone 2, 3, 4, but we're just going to do 1 for this example. So you're going to want to go into the clone project, or any clones that you have, and you're going to want to actually just delete that asset folder. And once that's done, we're going to use the command, which is going to grab the asset folder from this project and link it up to this one. So for this, you're going to have to go to command prompt. Whoops. Make sure you're running that as administrator or it won't work. And also make sure it's not PowerShell or anything. It has to be the actual command prompt. Okay, so this is the command we're going to be running here. It's called mklink, which just creates that symbolic link between the two asset folders. So the first thing we have to do is actually get inside the clone directory. So we want to be right here in the command line when we're running this command. So in this case, I have to go back some directories first. So I'm just going to do cd ... And now that I'm on my C drive, which is where it's located, I just have to go into it. So whatever your name is, if you're kind of doing this. Again, it might be different depending on where you put the file. You're just going to want to try and get into that copy project file. Okay, so now that I'm inside clone 1, I can run the command. It's important that you're inside before you run it. So the command is just mklink space /d space assets. So this is the asset folder that we're creating for the clone project, and then space dot dot backslash main project. Again, this name might be different. If you already had an existing project, just put whatever the one that you want to clone in here. And then backslash assets. And just double check that all your slashes are going the right way, and then just hit enter. So you should get this message saying that a symbolic link has been created. And once that's done, you should be good to go. You can just double check that real quick by going into the clone project and making sure you have that little arrow by the assets. Okay, so I'm going to open these two in Unity and we're just going to test it out real quick. So we got our main project open. Now we're just going to find the clone project, open that one as well. And again, just make sure that any changes you make are inside the main project. So always trying to look at the name there and make sure you're making the changes in the main project. You never want to make a change in a clone project. Okay, so we're going to add a cube in the main project. And if I click here, that should reload. Oh, just got to make sure you save it first. And there we go. Thanks for watching.